your KSPR Storm Team forecast.
Well, good evening, everyone. If you are getting ready to drive back home, you're looking at some nice conditions. I think we'll continue to see a few of those clouds sticking around, and temperatures as a whole, good weather to even roll down the windows, open up the sunroof. We just topped off today in the upper 70s and low 80s, and as we head to dinner time, falling right back down to those mid 70s. So probably even another good evening to take dinner outside if you can. As far as things have been on the satellite and radar, you can see it was around 1, 2 o'clock this afternoon that we had a few showers trying to come together for north central parts of Arkansas. But as we pause this and even zoom in a little bit, you can see that stretch from West Plains down toward Mountain Home, Mountain View. We've really dried up, and really I think that loop that you were looking at, as we compared our cameras out by Mountain Home, we really just saw a few dark clouds. So let me know on Facebook if you were able to actually see any rainfall today. And I think that's really going to be the pattern, just like we saw on the radar just a minute ago, that we'll see a few spotty showers here or there for the next couple of days. But overall, really not looking good for a nice soaking rain. In fact, I think we're going to keep this beautiful weather on tap for us even as we head to the weekend. And the one big change we'll be watching for, it's going to be a warming trend that really kicks in for tomorrow and continues all the way through Saturday and Sunday. Not a whole lot going on for the middle part of the country, really for the western half of the country. But you'll notice as we push our way eastward, do you see that big spiral just off the coast? You guessed it, that is Hurricane Florence. Florence clocked in at a Hurricane 3 status today, and that means winds just barely missing the mark of 130 miles per hour. You can see from this loop, it's lost just a little bit of intensity. Do you see how the eye, so the center of that hurricane, it's become a little less defined, so the circle's gotten a little bit smaller. But don't let that fool you. This is still expected to have some major impacts over the next couple of days as it crosses over the Carolina coastline. Another thing we're watching, do you see these bands, these white and green bands? These are rain bands that are going to be ahead of the main storm moving its way inland. As far as what we're looking at strength-wise, like we mentioned, Category 3 strength, and honestly, it just barely missed that mark for Category 4, going from 130 mile per hour winds to 125 mile per hour winds. Keep in mind, water's still warm, and warm water is the key ingredient to keep hurricanes going and growing. By the time Friday first thing in the morning gets here, this is 2 a.m. Friday, we're expecting that potential landfall. So Thursday night into the day on Friday, that's where we could be seeing some major impacts from this pushing its way inward. And now look at the track this takes. As it continues to hug the coastline, the biggest concern with this is interacting with that warm water. It could continue to stay a very strong hurricane, and like we mentioned, that can be 130 mile per hour sustained winds. And even as it does push its way into parts of South Carolina, it could be impacting states like Georgia, even Tennessee and Kentucky. So that's where we're watching for major impacts like rainfall and storm surge. Storm surge with this right along the coastline could be within the range of 9 to 13 feet. And just take a look at this rainfall potential. Do you see this pink area? That's where isolated pockets of 30 to 40 inches of rainfall could happen. But here in the Ozarks, we're expecting little to no impacts at all. And the reason for that, the pocket of dry air that's sitting over us. We're sitting under the influence of high pressure, and that means near perfect conditions as we head to the weekend. We're just going to keep those temperatures today right around 80 degrees, so almost identical to where we were yesterday. And I think we'll slowly start to warm things up starting tonight, actually. We'll see those temperatures in the low to mid 60s, so enough that it's still a nice night to keep the windows open. If you're like me, low 60s to start off the day is enough. You want to grab a jacket and then check out this warming trend. By the time the weekend gets here, we're talking mid to upper 80s, so don't put those shorts and the summer clothes away too far just yet.
Well, people on the ground